the best place to work.
I love working here.
I feel very blessed.
I love it here.
I look forward to coming to work every day, being a part of this team.
Like a family away from home.
Where everyone feels like everybody knows their name.
The city that supports you, we see that with our benefits.
A pension, vacation days, job security.
Being able to be heard.
We feel valued, we feel respected.
Lee Summit is a very progressive city.
It's growing, it's thriving.
We have this drive towards not just doing a job, but doing it with a spirit of excellence.
I had the opportunity to continue to grow, regardless of 30 plus years doing this kind of work.
It's more than just dollars and cents.
We're here really to give back.
Providing a service to better a community.
To go out and serve people.
To be a part of something bigger than yourself. If I would have known what I know now, years ago, I would have been here much sooner.
Hello Lee Summit, I'm Jordan. Here's your flash briefing for the week of April 6th. The general municipal election is Tuesday, April 7th. Lee Summit voters can look up their council district, find their polling location, and view candidate filings on our city elections page. Visit our website at cityofls.net. Season passes are on sale for Summit Waves. A season pass costs $105 for Lee Summit residents and $140 for non-residents. Save $10 if you order before May 1st. Head to summitwaves.net to buy your season passes now. Volunteer for Stream Team and help protect our local streamside habitats by removing litter and debris from streams within the city's parks. This event will take place on April 18th from 10 a.m. to noon at McKee Park. Trash bags and gloves are provided. Student and Scout community service hours are available. Volunteers must register and sign a waiver before the event. Learn more at cityofls.net/greenls. And the downtown Lee Summit Farmers Market is back in full swing. The Wednesday market will be at Green Street from 8 a.m. to noon. Thanks for listening and have a great week.
The City of Lee Summit has hundreds of traffic lights across its more than 1,000 lane miles, all managed by the city's Public Works traffic technicians. The work happens inside those metal boxes on the side of each intersection. Inside, technicians program a device called the controller. The controller communicates directly with each signal head via underground wires, telling each light when to turn on and off based on a programmed cycle. City traffic engineers design this cycle to allow traffic to flow as efficiently as possible for that particular intersection. In order to best match current traffic patterns, they install something called a detection system. Detection systems have taken many forms over the years, from sensors in the pavement to radar boxes. But in Lee Summit, they primarily consist of cameras, which workers mount above the traffic signals. These cameras don't record video or your speed. Instead, they monitor the spaces at the front of the intersection and identify when a vehicle is present in a specific spot. Once a vehicle is identified, the detection system sends a message to the controller, which then adapts its standard cycle to best serve the cars that are present. The pedestrian button works in a similar way. When the button is pressed, the controller receives a signal, requesting that it allow that section of the pedestrian walkway to go, which it then inserts into the signal pattern. Technicians also install something called a conflict monitor. The conflict monitor is a device in which they program all the potential patterns of lights that would lead to a collision. If the other systems mistakenly trigger those patterns, the conflict monitor sends the intersection into flash, causing all lights to flash red and directing drivers to treat it like an all-way stop. City traffic technicians implement and maintain these systems so effectively, we rarely consider them. But every time we safely pass through a signal-controlled intersection, it's all thanks to their work. So the next time you're waiting at a red light, remember the delicate coordination of super smart systems that move you through that space safely and efficiently every day.
Officers en route, 914, armed robbery. have always volunteered in the community and I was always really involved, but then I ran for school board. Whenever I got done with my term, I just felt like I had more to give. It's always been my goal from day one is to get everyone in the community connected and working together, and I always called it a spirit of community. Well, mayor's 24/7 and I have a job. I've had to work really hard at compartmentalizing, is what I call it. So during this time, I'm going to do work. During this time, I'm going to be mayor, even though I can get a call at any moment about mayor stuff. And so I've had to even work that much harder at setting aside time for myself or for family. So I like to exercise, I like to work out. Hillary's my wife. She actually goes to work out with me as well. And we do like to go downtown to the shops. We make sure we maximize our time together. I mean, I've got 2 kids as well, and we spend a lot of time with them, or whatever time they will give us these days. And I have a dog. I think most people kind of know me know I have to have a dog. We have so much development going on, and we're growing fairly quickly, so we have a lot of infrastructure needs, and sometimes we have gaps in infrastructure, and we've always managed to get by, but with this kind of growth, we're really having to be creative and look at our options and just have a good plan for water, sewer, roads, and more. If we want to grow the most healthy way, we need a diverse economy. We do have a lot of retail that's opened up here, and there's been new construction for retail. We really need to focus in the future on bringing some, well-paying jobs here, good, strong employers that want to be located in this incredible community of now 101,000 people. A lot of our workforce does commute to work still, so they leave Lee Summit to go to work, and it'd be nice if we could keep some of those citizens right here in our community. The times I feel most proud are actually when I'm in the community and I see the community come together.
We have Buddy in the house. Mr. Mayor!
The tree lighting is always very fun. I always feel very proud. It's just a great warm feeling. The same thing goes for when the council will do something and we come together and make a good decision together. There's been a few of those that you go home feeling like a winner. And one of them was when we put together the downtown farmers market, when we bought the land, and it became real, all that hard work. But also the Diversity and Inclusion Commission, that was months and months of discussions and conversations that were really hard to have, and we went ahead and moved forward and as a council all together, and I was very, very proud of that. And there are a few things that the citizens have done that have really helped us tremendously. First, in the middle of a pandemic, they passed a use tax, which is a way for us to collect sales tax whenever someone purchases online. That helps shore up our revenues so that we can continue to provide as high quality services that our city provides. And it helps us take care of our employees, it helps us with our public safety and more. So I can't be more thankful to the citizens for that. Lee Summit has the opportunity to have a major impact on the economy in the Kansas City area. We already, as an economy, are rolling along with such a high median income. We have an amazing workforce here that are paying taxes, they're paying property taxes, they're paying sales taxes, they're keeping our economy rolling, and we really are getting the attention of all our neighbors. And I think that what's going to happen is you're going to see the opportunity for us to really get everybody's attention when businesses start moving here, bigger businesses and more so. You should try to find a way to give back to the community, whether it's at the city level, citizen committees, or just participating in some of our community conversations whenever we have those opportunities. It's worth coming out of your shell or taking that leap of faith and just showing up and saying, what can I do or how can I help? The more that we do this together, the more wonderful the community is.
All right, I'll call the meeting to order for April the 9th, 2026. Can I get a roll call?
Ed Urrington.
Present.
Sherry Frazier.
Present.
Terry Trafted.
Present.
Dana Arth. Jessica Grinnell. Tanya Jonaford. Chip Tazinski.
Present.
Randy Benbrook.
Present.
All right, can I get approval of the agenda?
Mr. Vice Chairman, I'd like to approve the agenda as presented.
Second. Can I get a vote?
Ed Urrington.
Yes.
Sherry Frazier.
Yes.
Terry Trafton.
Yes.
Chip Tazinski.
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, are there any public comments related to the Planning Commission in general outside of anything that's on the agenda tonight? Because we'll have public hearings in those items. Ms. Giddings, do you want to come and give your comments? I think, do we have to have her, huh? Do we have to have her sworn in?
Promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Good evening.
Hello.
I want to commend this body for denying not once, but twice, the inflatable soccer dome. It should not have been necessary to even consider that a second time, but for Mr. Bard asking Mr. Dunning about returning it to the Planning Commission to allow Matt Schlitz to do what he could to make it work. Your second denial carried no weight at the council. It was approved anyway. I have watched or attended every city council planning and EDC meeting since August of last year. I actually attended the last LCR meeting. First citizen to ever do that, and it was an eye-opener. The citizens better be prepared to stomach the incentives and tax abatements the city plans to give to the developers of the RLDS land. The mission of the LCRA is to encourage development of blighted, insanitary, or deteriorated properties to benefit the community. I don't see fields of corn or land with green trees meeting that definition. I bring this up because the Planning Commission will be the first body to approve the individual properties. You already have done so with the Hook and Ward land. When you approve a plan, do you receive the financial arrangements made with the city? Not that it makes any difference by the time it's before you, the deals have already been made. Tonight, you will be making a recommendation for 6 four-story apartment buildings. Don't let the villa language confuse you. They are apartments. All 6 lined up in a row, one after the other, actually more like 5 stories given the parking garage and roof design. I'll speak to that more later this evening. I thank you for listening to my comments.
We get your name and address for the record.
Deborah Giddings, 1015 Southeast Bordner Drive, Lee Summit.
Thank you, Ms. Giddings. Okay. Can we move on to the approval of the consent agenda? Can I get an approval?
Yes, Mr. Vice Chairman, I'd like to present approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Can I get a thank you? Any comments about it before we go to vote? All right. Can we get a vote on it?
Yep. Ed Urrington.
Yes.
Sherry Frazier.
Yes.
Terry Trafton.
Yes.
Chip Tazinski.
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
All right, thank you. The motion passes. Let's move forward in the agenda. We have our first public hearing tonight, so I'm going to close the regular meeting and open the public hearing in the matter of Application PL2025-338 and PL2025-339, Preliminary Development Plan and Special Use Permit. Can I get all those interested in speaking on the matter, maybe rise and sworn by the staff?
Promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
All right, thank you. Does the applicant have a presentation? We're going to move to staff.
A brief presentation.
Oh,
Just a brief one.
Okay.
Hector Soto Jr., Senior Planner. I'd like to enter into the record Exhibit A, list of Exhibits 1 through 11.
Exhibit A, lists of Exhibits 1 through 11 are entered into the record.
Open 339 and 338. This is item B. They're on item A.
Oh,
This is the senior living facility.
sorry. Never mind. Never mind.
No,
So right now we're taking action just on the continuance of the, okay.
Yeah, we are I'm sorry. We are continuing this application to a date certain of April 23rd.
April 23rd, 2026. At the applicant's request.
Okay. So I'll reopen the public hearing, the matter of this application. Application PL2025-338 and PL2025-339. This will be continued to a date certain of April 23rd at applicant's request. Can I entertain a motion on the request for continuance?
Vice Chair, I recommend we move this application to a date certain of April 23rd, 2026.
Second.
Great. Any comments on the motion? All right, can I get a vote?
Ed Urington,
Yes.
Sherry Frazier,
Yes.
Terry Trafton,
Yes.
Chip Tazinski,
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
All right, the motion carries.
All right.
All right, now let's move forward to the next item on the agenda. I will close the meeting and open the public hearing in the matter of application PL2026-040, vacation of right-of-way. Anybody interested in speaking on this matter, please stand and be sworn in. Thank you.
You promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yeah. Sorry for the confusion. So in this case, it'll be me that'll be making the brief presentation. Match/applicant is available for questions if there are any.
Thank you, sir.
So Hector Soto Jr., Senior Planner. I'd like to enter the record Exhibit A, list of Exhibits 1 through 11.
All right, Exhibit A, list of Exhibits 1 through 11 entered into the record. Thank you.
So a brief summary of what this request is essentially we're going through the administrative or paperwork process to finalize the vacation of right-of-way that still currently exists following the realignment of Jefferson Street associated with the Oldham Village project. So in this case, the Jefferson Street has already been improved, has already been relocated. So this is just a leftover remnant, 8 foot wide by 213 feet long portion of right-of-way that just needs to be vacated to clean things up out there, any encumbrances that remain on the property. So in all, that strip of right-of-way is about 1,700 square feet. Here on the image on the left is the former alignment of Jefferson Street. You know, if you recall, Oldham Parkway kind of just was a T intersection. Well, the portion of Oldham Parkway that intersected with 291, essentially a T intersection with Oldham Parkway running the point north, and then Jefferson Street being from that point south. The image on your right rather, is an aerial photo from showing what the existing conditions are there. So just kind of looking at what that road used to do. It used to come in, run straight north. It's now been realigned to the west, and there's that 8 foot wide by 213 left strip of right-of-way that needs to be vacated again, just to clean up any remaining encumbrances over that property, to clean it up, to make way for the future development of those pad sites. I'm just including this just so you can see kind of what work has been done out there, just a broad overview of what has been done. So everything here on the left, Odessa property, you can see the old Oldham Parkway / Jefferson Street alignment that ran pretty tight or tighter to US 50 Highway and 291 / Market. And now we've got the reconfigured, the 7 Road on the north side of Oldham Parkway, the realigned Jefferson Street. All of the other rights of way through that area have been vacated under the previous application. This is just a leftover piece that was found. So we're going through this process to get that cleaned up. So that's the extent of the presentation. Staff's recommendations for approval of the vacation of right-of-way.
Thank you, Hector. Are there any questions from the commissioners? No? All right. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on the application in support or opposition? All right. Seeing no movement in the crowd. All right. Hearing no further testimony, I'll close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting. Is there any comments from the commission? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Vice Chair, I recommend approval of application PL2026-040, vacation of right-of-way, a portion of Southwest Jefferson Street, right-of-way located south of Southwest Oldham Parkway, abutting to 1111 Southwest Jefferson Street, Engineering Solutions, LLC applicant.
Second.
Any comments from the commission? All right, I'll have a vote, please. I'll call the vote.
Ed Urington,
Yes.
Sherry Frazier,
Yes.
Terry Trafton,
Yes.
Chip Tazinski,
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
All right, thank you. The motion passes. Thank you very much. We'll move forward in the agenda on item C, application PL2026-037, special use permit, renewal of outdoor ball field lighting, Summit Christian Academy, applicant, ACI Boland Architects applicant. Those interested in testifying or speaking on the matter, please rise and be sworn by staff.
Promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Thank you very much. Does the applicant have a presentation?
Yeah, I'll just introduce myself.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Andrew Chopin with ACI Boland Architects on behalf of Summit Christian Academy. We're just, trying to get a renewal of the existing special use permit for their ball lighting, or their ball field lighting. There's no intended change to the existing lighting, just a simple renewal since the original special use permit is expired, and I would defer to his report for any exhibits, and I'm here for any questions.
All right, very good. Thank you. Does staff have a presentation?
Good evening, Pierce Pulliam Planner. Please enter to the record Exhibit A, list of exhibits 1 through 15.
Please enter Exhibit A, list of exhibits 1 through 18, entered into the record.
So the applicant is requesting renewal of a special use permit to allow the continued operation of outdoor ball field lighting at 1500 Southwest Jefferson Street for 20 years. The lighting would be for one combined soccer and football field and one baseball field. I do want to note the original SUP from 2016 allowed for 10 total lights. However, the applicant has only installed 4 lights at the football and soccer field. The applicant is still requesting that the SUP will allow lighting for the baseball field, but has no plans to do so at this time. The property is currently zoned R1 and PI and is surrounded by R1 to the north and west and PI to the east and south. The adjacent properties consist of Lee Summit Community Church and Glendana Heights subdivision to the north, industrial parks to the east, and office warehouse to the south, and Oxford Meadows subdivision to the west. The future land use map designates the property as commercial, which calls for a commercial area that can contain civic uses, which does include private and educational facilities. The lights are at the maximum allowable height for outdoor lighting that is 70 feet. The lights are below the maximum average foot candle levels allowed for outdoor ball field lighting, and the lights must be set back 70 feet from the nearest residential property, and the nearest light to any residential property is set back about 205 feet. During a routine examination of the property, staff did not find any concerns with the site, and a neighborhood meeting was held on March 2nd, and no members of the public attended. The applicant requested 20-year approval. However, to cover the time that will elapse between the date of original SUP expiring and city council approval, staff recommends granting approval for 20 years and 7 days. And with the conditions listed here and outlined in the staff letter, the applicant meets the goals of the Unite Comprehensive Plan and the UDO. And if you all have any questions, I can answer as well.
Thank you, Pierce. Are there any questions from the commission for staff or applicant?
I do. Just, you said there's 10 now, but they don't use all 10?
So the original SUP from 2016 approved 10 lights, but they only installed these 4 that are on the soccer and football field.
Okay.
And there's none on the baseball field, but they still want the SUP to allow for that.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions? No? So you said the last time the special use permit was granted was 2016?
Yes.
So is there a reason why it was 10 years and now they're asking for 20?
I believe at the time it was just kind of the standard we did for the 10 years back for 10 years ago. And they had requested indefinite and we decided at 10, but we discussed it and we felt like since they're not changing anything, 20 years would be fine. Their lights, they can't really move and, you know, it should be fine for 20 years.
Okay.
Commissioner Trafford?
Yes, sir.
Just a quick question. Is there any reason we wouldn't go longer than that? Just for the sake of the school and the church to have to come back? I mean, it seems like no one showed up at their public meeting. And I don't know if anyone's here to speak for or against it in the crowd. Is there any reason to make them come back in 20 years? Or is this just a arbitrary number? Or do you have any concern to go longer?
You have the authority to recommend a longer time period than 20. Like Mr. Pulliam had mentioned, 10 for renewals has been pretty standard. But as you mentioned, given the fact that no one has spoken out against it and we've seemingly not had any documented issues with it, you're certainly within your right to recommend a longer time period.
Okay. Mr. Vice Chairman, I just for the group, I would mind entertaining see if anyone's opinions, thoughts.
We do have to go to public
okay.
comment first, and we can get to that in a minute.
Okay.
Is there anyone here that wants to testify for or in opposition of the application? All right. Well, seeing nobody moving, clamoring to the microphone, we'll move forward. Are there any additional questions? No? All right. Hearing no further testimony, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting. Is there any comments from commission around the application? Yes.
Mr. Chairman, I just would like to consider or have the group consider or discuss a longer term.
Are you suggesting 30 years over 20?
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah.
Is that what are the other commissioners thinking about that?
Is this a normal request if the applicant puts 20 years for us to make a recommendation for us to pivot and add to that? Is that normal? I don't know that. If it is, then.
Well, I think the staff get with the applicant, they make a decision around what they recommend. So I think Mr. Pulliam, I want to say, said they came to 20 because last time they did 10 and there hasn't been any significant changes. The school plans to stay in this location and so I think that's why there was a recommendation of 20. I think they saw it was okay to go longer, but
they doubled it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was in conversation with staff that they doubled it, was my impression, so, from the testimony.
And my thoughts are, if they want 20, I'm sure they'll be fine with even longer. Why make them come back if they've done a great job? I mean, there's been no complaints, no concerns, nothing that the staff. So my thoughts were just like, let's just let them do what they want to do, is teach children and have their church and give them a little bit longer time, but have to come back. My thoughts.
If I may add my 2 cents, I'm good with the 20 simply because If we go 30 and there's a change of ownership for whatever reason, and the fields become derelict, they throw up the other lights and they point them in the wrong direction, we really have no recourse until 30 years is up. So I think 20 years is kind of typical, what we do in this kind of a situation. I'd support 20. The few hours that they spent filling out an application and appearing tonight in a 20-year time period, I don't think it's going to take away from the education of too many children, but I support 20 years. I don't think there's any reason to go 30, in my opinion.
Is there other comments from commissioners, thoughts? Nope. All right. Well, hearing no further questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I move to recommend approval of application number PL2026-037, special use permit renewal for athletic field lighting, Summit Christian Academy, 1500 Southwest Jefferson Street, ACI Boland Architects, applicant.
Second.
Any comments before we go to a vote?
Mr. Chairman?
Sure.
I believe, do we take a vote first and then I can make amendments? Or is the, yeah. I'd like to make an amendment to the initial recommendation to increase the period from 20 years to 30 years and 7 days.
Okay, here a secondary motion. Is there a second to that motion? Hearing no second, I guess the motion dies. All right, any other comments or additional motions before we move to vote? All right, seeing none, I'll call for vote. Thank you.
Ed Urington,
Yes.
Sherry Frazier,
Yes.
Terry Trafton,
Yes.
Chip Tazinski,
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
All right, the motion carries. Thank you. Congratulations. See you in 20 years. Well, you won't see me. You won't see me, but you'll see somebody else. All right, let's go ahead and move forward to application PL2025-340, preliminary development plan, John Knox Village Country Club Corridor, Hybrid Village, Southeast Corner, Northwest Chipman, and Northwest Pryor Road, SFCS, Inc. applicant. Anybody here that would like or interested in speaking on behalf of this matter, please rise and be sworn by staff.
Promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
All right, thank you very much. Does the applicant have a presentation?
Yes. Good evening. My name is Darren Spate. I'm Associate Principal with SFCS, Architect for John Knox Village, so proud to be here. Also have Eric Scott, Director of Ops and Business Development with John Knox Village, and Eric Bird, Civil Engineer with BHC Roads. So, for any questions.
Thank you.
So to kind of orient you real quickly, everybody's familiar where John Knox is at. Pryor Road, we're starting to look at redeveloping the west side here. So Shamrock, Pryor, Chipman, O'Brien. Everything you see in kind of the red circle around here. We are replacing some existing aging cottages and existing original apartment buildings that were built in basically 1972. What we're looking at developing is creating, as the lady said earlier, 4 apartment buildings coming through here, 15 apartments each with garage below, so for a total of 90 units. I'll show you a phase plan in a second. We are looking at going into redeveloping the golf course just a little bit that's there. Right now it kind of goes in and out of the cottages that is around, looking at adding to the lake. This will start to create a little bit more of a buffer. As we know, Pryor Road's starting to get a little bit busier than it was when the original campus was built, so we wanted to create a little bit of a buffer. Here, kind of jumping back to a north orientation, you can start to see each of the villa hybrid buildings, 15 apartments, as I said, in each, 3 floors above the garage, parking on each, parking underneath. Shamrock stays, a little bit of a different development with it at the end. The one thing we are doing is Peace Parkway here, and that is a private street. We are going to eventually close it in a phase and allow Faith Drive to align with the drive across. So we are looking at that, making a better intersection here for coming out of the John Knox development. Here you can start to see a little bit of the phasing plan that we're going to develop as we continue to submit for final development permit and then actual permitting. We're looking at developing the first one here, which will have that Faith Drive extension that I mentioned. We probably will not connect to it right off the bat. We'll leave Peace Parkway. This is, market driven for apartments, so we're going to see how the marketing goes. We are looking at developing either side, as you see in the purple, as the next phase, and then green, 3 more buildings, ultimately for the 6 total. Here you start to see a little bit of the landscape buffering that we're talking about, how we're redeveloping the golf course. And you can start to see some of the plantings that we're working, the screening, naturally to prevent golf balls from going into Pryor Road. So it will have a little bit more of a buffer, park-like feel, and this will ultimately connect down to the clubhouse that we just opened on the south part of the campus to allow walking trails. A little bit more of a zoomed in plan. I'm going to kind of keep us going where we can get to some questions. Getting to the materials, you can start to see that it looks very similar to the other projects that we've done out there over the last 12 to 13 years. It's the adhered stone, which matches the other buildings that are right behind it in the Meadows complex. EFIS, the hardy board siding and hardy board panels, and asphalt architectural laminated shingles. So everything are products that we've used throughout the campus over the last dozen years. A couple more flat elevations, and then you can start to see a little bit of the perspective. So it's just a continuation of the design that we've explored for the last several years. And last but not least, a little bit of a siding plan, how we'll light the street naturally and come with bollards around the building. That's it, pretty simple presentation.
Sorry, there we go. Staff, can we have your presentation? Ms. Bright.
Good evening, Adair Bright, Senior Planner. I'd like to enter into the record Exhibit A, list of exhibits 1 through 15.
Thank you. Exhibit A, a list of exhibits 1 through 18?
15.
15. Sorry. Entered into the record. Thank you.
The applicant is requesting approval of a preliminary development plan on 15 acres for development of 6 apartment buildings that will total 90 dwelling units. The site is located at the southeast corner of Northwest Chipman Road and Northwest Pryor Road. The subject site is shown on the image with the pink fill, and it is part of John Knox Village, which is shown with the purple outline. The applicant is requesting 1 modification, and staff analysis will be provided later in the presentation. The property is zoned P-mix, which means the allowed land use is dependent upon the approved plan, along with other site standards such as setbacks, density, height, etc. Located within John Knox Village, the overall site does include a mix of residential uses such as attached and detached single-family dwellings, multifamily apartments, and assisted living. Outside of John Knox Village, the property to the north contains commercial pad sites, while properties to the south, east, and west contain varying residential uses. The future land use map identifies the subject property as residential 3, which notes mid-rise mixed-use buildings and apartment complexes as appropriate higher intensity uses. The application does support the strong neighborhoods and housing choices focus area of the comprehensive plan by creating a variety of housing options and styles in the area. The proposal includes 6 multifamily apartment buildings, which will be 4 stories, with the first floor being a tuck-under garage and the 3 upper stories containing the dwelling units. The plan includes the removal of the existing Northwest Pryor Road access at Northwest Peace Parkway and installation of a new connection, Northwest Faith Drive, which is about 1/10 of a mile south of the Northwest Chipman Road intersection. The applicant proposes 180 parking stalls as required by the UDO. Each building has 15 parking stalls within the garage for a total of 90, and the remaining stalls are surface parking. The proposed buildings include 4-sided architecture with a mix of materials, including clear glass, stone veneer, fiber cement board panels and siding, and EIFS. The buildings also include roof and building articulations, along with front entrance features such as awnings. The proposal meets all architecture and building design standards as required by the UDO. The applicant is requesting that head-in angled parking be permitted from the private streets proposed. Staff is supportive of the request as John Knox Village has existing head-in angled stalls elsewhere, and the proposed stalls are being provided to meet the required parking count. Also, the angle stalls minimize safety concerns by assuring access to and from the stalls move in a uniform direction. A neighborhood meeting was held on January 15th, 2026. Questions and topics of concern included site design, construction, and traffic patterns during that construction. With the conditions of approval outlined here and in the staff letter, the application meets the goals of the Ignite Comprehensive Plan and the requirements of the UDO, and I am here for any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Ms. Bright. Are there any questions from the commission? All right, Commissioner Benbrook, yeah.
All right, thank you, Vice Chair. Let's start with the applicant. So if I understand this correctly, you already have like 4 apartment buildings that you're going to be tearing down and rebuilding, is that correct?
There's 3.
3,
Yeah, 3.
okay. And then several, I guess, single-story
Cottages,
villas.
yes.
How many units would you say you're going to be removing and then building back? Do you know like the gross difference on that?
Yeah. Okay. It's actually fewer.
I believe it's about 120 units that we're taking out of service throughout the phased plan.
So you're going to be reducing, even with the new build, back 120 units?
Correct.
Okay. And the buildings were 15 units each? Is that?
The new ones,
The new
yes.
ones, yes, to clarify, okay. And I'm assuming John Knox Village, this is assisted living?
Independent living.
Independent living, but it's like a 50 and older, is there a requirement for age?
55.
55, okay, excellent. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. That's all I had, Vice Chair.
Okay, thank you. You have any questions? Okay, Commissioner Frazier.
Just a clarifying question. So in one of the slides, they weren't numbered. I apologize. So the proposal is for landscaping along Pryor there that would separate if you have the new golf courses and the apartments, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I think there's villas or cottages there now.
Yes.
Okay. And then can you just do a little bit, clarify what Faith Drive is? Because is that where the light continues to the assisted across the street?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it your intention to open that up for driving? Because I know you can walk across there now.
You're thinking about the just pedestrian
Yes,
only light?
yes,
No, it's
yes.
actually, that one, I believe, aligns with the front of the skilled nursing I believe it does.
Okay.
So this is actually up, there's a drive, you can just barely see it on this plan.
Okay.
That goes back to the John Knox Ops building, the gardens. There's some more maintenance buildings over there.
Okay.
We're aligning Faith Drive with it.
That one?
And Faith Drive right now is just this little cul-de-sac.
Okay.
So we look at it as a better proposal to have the intersection there.
That's
so.
what I was thinking. Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
And then I think you answered the question on the difference, the current versus the replacement.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, 120 existing and replacing with 90.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Can you show me where you're going to be removing?
Removing buildings?
Yes.
Yes. So here you go. So there's, you can see the cursor there. There's apartment buildings right now. We actually removed 2 apartment buildings when we did the original Meadows phases here. This is Manor 1 and Villa 1, and then a restaurant and golf shop below, and then another building here. And then it's really everything inside the red circle, the existing cottages here to Shamrock. So it's really cleaning this up. A lot of the cottages are old also.
So where are those residents? You're going to remove them, or you have?
No, we're going to.
You're going
We
to,
have
okay.
not
So
removed.
those residents within those villas or whatever, where are they going?
We have 3 residents that live in the cottages that are going to be demolished. All 3 of those residents are being relocated elsewhere on the campus.
So overall, if you think about the phasing plan, we're only going to phase 1 villa right now, and it only affects 3 residents. And we've been working since last September to talk about where we're relocating them. So ultimately, we go through the same process each time that we design a building, build a building. John Knox gets ahead of that roughly 6 months to work through each where they're going across the campus and offering new relocation.
The resident relocations are actually the longest task on our timeline.
Okay. Let me see. Can you show me where you're going to be starting the contract? I know you had phases, right? You had 1, and then you had 2 buildings in phase 2, and then.
It's roughly right here in the.
Yeah, you showed it earlier.
Give me just a second here. It's basically right in this area.
No, it's further to the north.
Yeah, you showed it earlier in another slide, I think.
Oh, you just want to see the phasing plan?
Yeah.
There you
Okay,
go.
yeah, right there.
Right there.
Okay, so your construction is going to be, how are you going to enter and exit for construction?
Preferably, we'd like to have Faith Drive as a construction, the extension of Faith Drive as a construction entrance, but if we can't do that, we'll come in off Peace Parkway and go immediately north on Shamrock.
So there'd be 1 entrance and 1 exit well, you have 2 if you could use Faith.
Correct.
And that's what your goal is, to use Faith.
We'd like to use Faith just to keep the construction traffic off of our campus, yes.
Okay. And after you do the phases, do you want people to move into these buildings prior to the other phases being complete?
Correct.
And so they would have to deal with all the construction in the other 2 phases after the first phase?
Correct. That process will be driven by the sales process.
So unless marketing takes off, and we can really do them all.
How is this going to impact the residents of outside this development? Is there any concerns? The city have any concerns of emergency vehicles or congestion?
Do you mean the residents over in the
Yes.
remaining portion of
Yeah,
John
because
Knox
they're
Village?
saying they're going to use the Peace Parkway, right?
Correct.
That's what I'm referring to, yes.
Mhm. And so I'm assuming we haven't worked all of this part out yet, but that Faith Drive would be primarily for construction, and then Peace Parkway, which you can't see it here because it would inevitably be removed, but everybody else would continue to use Peace Parkway as needed until it was finally closed and removed, and then Faith Drive would be the primary access, but staff doesn't have concerns about congestion.
Or emergency vehicles or anything like that, okay. Thank you, that's all.
Any other commission questions? I have a couple. So I think I saw, you said you're going to be displacing 3 residents in the cottage area. I mean, those are what, like little duplexy kind of buildings?
All 5 units that are in the initial phase for demolition are duplexes, yes.
So there's 3 of them that are currently filled and 2 are vacant, and
There's 10 units total, 3 of them are currently occupied, which is kind of indicative of our occupancy in that area of the campus.
okay. And so I think you had said, so you're going to be taking how many cottages out of commission when you get this phase 2 done? Because it looks like phase 2 includes all the cottage areas.
Yep, there's 2 there.
So 12?
12.
12, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, and so you're saying you don't have full occupancy of those 12 cottages now? Is that part of the transition plan, or just you haven't been, because they're old and aged?
They're old and dilapidated, yes.
People don't want to, are they rent or?
Those would primarily be part of our lease product line, yes.
They are currently part of your lease product line?
Yes.
Okay. So you're taking out those, and then you said 120 apartments that you're demolishing in the future phases?
Yeah.
Phase 3?
Including all 3 of those apartment buildings.
And you're replacing it, all told, all in, all these 6 buildings are going to have 90 dwellings in it?
Correct.
So you're reducing significant headcount from the apartments and the villas, all told?
Correct.
Each of those buildings, they're 3 stories of apartments and then a garage underneath, is that correct?
There's no garages in any of those apartment buildings. They're about 35 units per building.
Oh, 35 units per building?
The existing, right?
The
Just to
yeah.
clarify.
Oh, no, I'm talking
Okay,
about
that's
the new
what I-
buildings,
yeah.
sorry.
Okay. So
The new
no.
buildings that you're putting in?
15 apartments with a garage underneath for 15 cars, so,
Okay.
yeah. And then surface parking outside.
And you guys have obviously done some research on this product, I'm guessing, that led you to this place?
It's something that we do nationally. It's been a very successful apartment. We actually developed it as a company. So clients came to us and said, we have cottages, we have apartment buildings, we don't have anything in between. So, yeah, smaller apartment building. So it allows 3-sided views on a lot of the apartments, allows for a lot more natural light than you see in the linear apartment buildings. So, and it's something that we've seen be a huge success across the nation.
Okay, so what other markets do you have this product in?
Cities, locations, everywhere. Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, going up into Pennsylvania, coming out this way. We've talked about developing in Kansas. Oregon's got some currently. I'm probably guessing, but probably half the states have something very similar right now in it.
What's the typical age range of applicant? Because you said it's 55 and older, but I'm just curious what the average age of those.
Our average move-in age, 79.
For this kind of product?
For the last several projects we've done, for the last 3 apartment projects, everybody says if you build new, you'll get younger residents. It's been 79 for our last 3 projects.
Okay.
For us, we are seeing a little bit younger across the nation moving into these products because it offers something as a transition from a traditional residential home to not a full-blown big apartment building, a smaller apartment building.
Okay. Well, that leads me to my next question, which is, are there elevators in these buildings?
Yes.
For
Yes.
people? Okay. All right, I think those are most of my questions. My other question is for staff related, it's traffic related to, so I just wanted to get that alignment of Faith Drive that they put in there, 1/10 of a mile from that really busy intersection. We already know that Pryor Road's a very busy road. Is there any concern of, I'm curious about, like, I know we don't just throw up streetlights, but I feel like the alignment of this could in the future lead to that. And I know we can't predict that. That's all based on traffic studies. But I'm just curious what staff say. What do you think?
Susan Berry, City Traffic Engineer. So we tried to line it up with an entrance across the street. It is, I don't remember what the distance is, but it is too close for another signal. So if it were to warrant a signal in the future, we would not allow it, since there are alternate accesses.
Yeah, I think he said 1/10 of a mile, so it's
Yeah.
like a block,
So normally,
pretty close.
we would like to have 1/4 of a mile between signals.
That's what I
So
thought,
we wouldn't
but-
allow a signal there.
That's what, I just wanted to clarify that. So
But there is
the-
a reduction in traffic over what's there now, like less units, so there's less traffic. So they didn't have to do a full traffic study
Okay.
since the number of traffic was going down.
You know, the other question I have related to construction traffics, I think that was a concern. You know, it looks like you can turn left out of that new alignment. It looks like it's already open there, the street is.
Yes.
Is there plans to keep that open like that?
I don't think we've determined that we're going to put a median down the middle.
Okay.
It might be something that comes later if we start having issues. We always monitor those kind of situations.
All right. I think those are my questions. Thank you, Ms. Berry. Nice job. Okay. Any other questions from Commissioner?
There's one follow-up question, just my own edification. So you're going to take out 3 apartments and cottages, correct?
Yes.
And then those apartments right now house 35 residents per apartment?
Correct.
And so that's like 105, right?
Yep.
About 105 residents. And then you're going to displace, put 6 apartments and put 90 people in there. So it's less dense.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's why.
Which that's been true with most of our development at John Knox Village.
Sure.
The current market wants larger apartments, so thinking about to 1972, the size of some of those apartments that are in there. So that's
Right.
one reason.
That was my other question is the square feet within each apartment, what they are, what they were, and what they're going to?
Nowhere close.
Yeah.
It's more.
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
Okay. What is a square feet in the current in comparison to what you're going to be building?
I would say on average, less than 1,000 square feet in the existing units. And these buildings, the average square foot is about 1,400 per unit.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. I'm good. Thank you.
Done. Thank you. All right. Anyone wants to speak in opposition or support of this application, please come forward and state your name and address for the record, please.
Debbie Giddings, 1015 Southeast Bordner Drive. The citizens are tired of apartments. This adds 90 more in 6 buildings. The proposed layout of these apartments is very unappealing. The buildings will line Pryor Road one after the other after the other. The visual impact not only affects the corridor, but the significant commercial intersection as well. The golf course is not a new amenity. It's been there for years. Adding more is that dedicated green space for this proposal. Where is the park area that's shown on other apartment complexes? Is the Greenway Trail accessible? The density is increased by moving the buildings closer in. Does that make it more enjoyable in the environment? The access point for this development is the huge issue. It will move 100 feet closer than allowed normally to the intersection, and they're adding a left-hand turn lane going south. Why is there not a right-hand turn lane going? Are we having citizens going back and forth across that intersection, getting in and out of those apartments, excuse me? A huge concern, is this full access or limited access? And who's going to determine that? Because in the meeting notes from the neighborhood meeting, the residents ask about what happens at that intersection. And the developer told them there might need to be a stoplight at that intersection. Is that true? City says no. What about the residents thinking that might be a possibility? It was buried in the notes of the neighborhood meeting. I think this is a poor development idea. Usually, we don't have, or is there 6 buildings aligned like that in the city that are close to a major intersection and a major thoroughfare? We don't need more stoplights. We don't need more crosswalks. Average age 79 in these buildings? And the proposal of the garage is only going to allow the residents 1 car in there. They didn't tell you about the parking outside is for their second vehicle if they have one. Access for only 1 car in the garage. If you look at the visual where you can see not only the left and the right side, they look to be almost 5 stories. And in fact, the drawing showing the levels shows the 4th level with the roof above almost being a 5th story. Please vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any additional comments or questions comments from the public for or against this application? I think I see somebody moving. Hello, sir. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Frank Doyle. I live at 2049 Northwest Ashurst. And my question is there any, all the maps that you show that Ashurst is still coming down to Pryor and requiring a right turn to get out of there or a left turn to get in. There is no plans to take out that parkway at the intersection of Ashurst, is there?
I'll get that question answered for you, sir. Any other comments you want to make?
Just a question. It looks like it's going to be status quo. I just want to sort of make sure it's going to remain status quo.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Bright, do you, or applicant? Mr. Spate?
Yeah.
Spate. Can you talk about that? And
Yes, slightly lost a little bit on the question. Ashurst, let's see. So here's Peace Parkway, here's Ashurst. Peace Parkway is proposed to be removed.
Okay.
And then Faith Drive will be about here-ish, I believe.
Right.
And does that answer the question? Okay.
okay, thank you, Ms. Bright. Are there any other questions from commission? I think I had a question and then I lost it. Nope, I think it got answered. Oh, no, I know what it was. They were talking about landscaping comments near that intersection. Or I was thinking of landscaping around the intersection. That building is going to be getting a lot closer to Chipman Road, that in the second phase. And I mean, there is a pretty healthy landscaping plan. I do see a new lake being added. I see walking trails around all of the new 9-hole golf course, which I think will be used by residents just for, you know, their own pleasure, which will be nice. They don't have to golf. I was just curious. I mean, I know the final development plan will include the final landscaping, but I I was looking at the plan related to that corner up there, and I'm not seeing a lot of evergreen trees. I'm seeing some healthy use of evergreen trees for screening around some of those holes and stuff, which I like. And I'm seeing a healthy landscaping plan. I'm just curious about that corner. If you could talk about that a little more.
Yeah, so we did have a bit of conversation about landscaping through this review process. It will be reviewed further with the final development plan, as you had alluded to. If there is the desire to increase the quantity of landscaping at that intersection, we can work through that. Right now, they are meeting all UDO requirements.
One more thing if I can add
go
here
ahead.
just a second. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Hector.
go ahead.
Also, the utility lines there. Remember, that's exactly where the big power line goes through. So we cannot put big trees in this area here. That's one reason why we made that into the path that it goes all the way about a mile south of here for the walking trail through the village. Turned a utility into a utility amenity as we kind of marketed.
Gotcha.
And I'd just like to correct what Ms. Givings said. There are no buildings any closer to Pryor Road than there are currently right now. We're removing structures closer to Pryor to use the golf course as a buffer.
So that building A, I think is what it's called, is not any closer to Chipman Road than
We have units in those locations. Well, that is actually green space there, but everything else, the other 5 units along that road are all the same distance from Pryor. And then we're taking a lot of units out that are closer to Pryor.
But isn't the building A going to be closer to Chipman?
It'll be closer to Chipman, correct, not Pryor.
And I think that was her point, is that the building is going to be closer to Chipman, and which is a pretty busy street. And you're adding some screening for trees, it looks like, in that area.
There's also a significant grade change at that corner.
Oh, that it goes down.
There's a hill where we have our monument sign on the corner that you can see, and there's about a 30-foot drop from that down to the first building. I haven't looked at the elevations on the second building.
Aren't those power lines the really big ones, like really tall, like?
Those are, it's major transmission lines that are running through there.
Over 90 feet tall or something, I would think, to those lines. I mean,
I don't know if they're that tall, but they are high voltage lines.
5 or so.
I mean, evergreen trees usually grow to 30, 40 feet. I don't think they're going to reach that height.
Evergy does not allow
But they don't
any
allow
kind of
for
trees
evergreen?
in their
Oh,
overhead
and
power lines like that.
underneath in the
They don't
easement
allow
line?
really anything.
Yeah, where they can get maintenance.
Right, there's a 100-foot wide electrical easement through there, so there's a large swath through there in which nothing more than essentially shrubs and ground cover can essentially be placed there.
All right. Well, I think you answered that question. Appreciate it. Any other questions from commission before I close the hearing? All right. Hearing no further testimony or questions, I'll reopen the regular meeting. Are there any comments about this application?
No, I like how it's less dense, and they're moving from, they already currently have apartments that have a lot more, not a lot, but some more residents than you plan on. And I think it's less dense, it'll be more spread out. I like the elevation plan that you showed, so I like this development.
Even though you said 79, asking for a friend here. Just curious, of the apartment buildings, do you have amenities like a pool or? No, did we do that? Okay.
This is comments.
Well, no.
I can reopen it.
Okay.
Sorry. I'll close the regular meeting and reopen the hearing, public hearing.
Sorry.
Ms. Commissioner Frazier.
I like the fact that you know, it's market driven, and it sounds like you have responded, but I wanted to know, like, amenities, why, you know, you've got apartments and there are pool nearby. I know there's the golf course, but pool, fitness center, or they have to kind of walk to the other?
We have 2 fitness centers on campus, currently 2 indoor pools and 1 outdoor pool that's under construction right now.
7 restaurants, new pickleball courts, if
Okay.
you haven't seen those yet, in the outdoor pool area down at the end. So definitely a lot of amenities, so.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that part.
Okay, any other questions from commissioners? All right, I'll close the public hearing again, and I'll reopen the regular meeting for comments. Any other comments? Commissioner Benbrook.
Yeah, thank you, Vice Chair. I'd like to commend ownership. This is awesome. I'm so glad you guys are invested in our community to where you're getting rid of old buildings that you've seen no use for and that is not market-driven and replacing them with a beautiful new product that will be utilized. And I appreciate you pushing it back off of Pryor and using the golf course as a buffer. That's one of my big things. I'm always pushing for green space and buffers along the roads, and I'm happy that you did that preemptively. I think this is a great project, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Trzynski.
In general, I really appreciate a business owner that comes in and upgrades their facilities. They remove some products that was probably great when they were built and comes back with a really nice set of apartments and but upgraded apartments, right? Larger sizes. I'm sure they're going to be smack dab with the new security and better heating and cooling and everything for the residents in there. And I think there's a place for apartments, and there's exactly a place for this kind of apartment in this community, because there's a lot of people that want to live in Lee Summit that don't want to own homes, that only have one car, and want to have the ability to close their door and go to Florida for a couple months and not have to worry about it and come back and something happened, well, it was taken care of. So thank you very much for this. I look forward to seeing what else you do with the campus as you continue to grow and improve. And I'll be voting yes for this because I think it's a really good upgrade. And I look forward to seeing more people out there playing golf around the campus. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Frazier.
Just wanted to follow up. You kind of touched on this. It looks like you put a lot of thought into the project and the phasing of it. So no one is unhoused, if you would. So you've got places for folks, at least temporarily, or if they want to move back. So truly appreciate that. Speaking to the needs of the residents, and like I said before, as asking for a friend, it speaks to the variety that we've been talking about, single family, assisted, multifamily. So appreciate it, and I will be voting for it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Yarrington.
No, I started out with my comment.
Yeah, I too appreciate the addition of the buffer screening and landscaping. I wish we could do something more up there on that Chipman Road. I understand there's a big easement up there. I drive by that location all the time. I'm excited that we're adding the lake and a lot more screening. So we need more of that in the community. And so I appreciate the effort tonight. So with that, any other further comments or questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Yes. I move to recommend approval of application PL2025-340, preliminary development plan, John Knox Village, Country Club Corridor Hybrid Villas, southeast corner, Northwest Chipman Road, and Northwest Pryor Road, SFCS, Incorporated, applicant.
Second.
Any further comments around the motion or any other motions? All right, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Thank you.
Ed Yerington,
Yes.
Sherry Frazier,
Yes.
Terry Trafton,
Yes.
Chip Trzynski,
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
The motion carries. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing the new phasing.
Thank you.
All right, let's move us forward. We have on our agenda application PL2026-064 Unified Development Ordinance UDO Amendment to Article 5 Overlay District Citywide City of Lee Summit applicant. Anybody interested in speaking on behalf? No, this is public hearing. Interested in, please be sworn in by staff. everybody's leaving. All right, thank you. We get to hear Ms. Sue Piles' presentation. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. Sue Piles, Development Engineering Manager. Please enter into the record Exhibit A, list of exhibits 1 through 9. I'm here tonight to walk...
Here, I'll take those.
Entered into the record.
I'll enter.
Exhibit A, list of exhibits 1 through 9.
Exhibit 1 through 9 into the record. Thank you.
I'm here to walk you through some proposed updates to the floodplain overlay district. The floodplain overlay district is part of the UDO, Article 5, Division 2. It's the city's floodplain management ordinance, and in order for FEMA floodplain insurance, sorry, we have to have, the city has to have a floodplain management ordinance. This is our way of making sure that we reduce the risk to people and flood damage to properties. We maintain eligibility for property owners in the city. This is an example I just wanted to throw in there to show that this is good floodplain management. The picture on the left shows houses platted outside of the floodplain, but the picture on the right shows that floodplain area used for natural area and amenities that can be not damaged should water get in there. We had some confusion early on about floodplain versus stormwater management. What's the difference? The floodplain overlay district regulates just the FEMA designated floodplain areas. Stormwater management regulates stormwater drainage outside of the FEMA area. This ordinance specifically covers the FEMA floodplain areas. So why are we updating the ordinance? We want to bring additional consistency throughout the ordinance. We added some more precision to it. We wanted to codify existing practices, provide additional clarity, and then just perform some general housekeeping. So for consistency, we had several terms that meant the same thing, but they were written just a little bit differently throughout different areas of the ordinance. So we basically made them all the same just so everybody knew what we were talking about the whole way through. FEMA requires precision to the 100th. We only had a whole number in our ordinance, so we have now identified that we require it to the 100th also, so we align with FEMA. We codified some things that we are currently doing. We currently require a no-rise certificate for fill placed in the floodway fringe, and we require a letter of map revision for fill placed in the floodway. We're not adding any new requirements, we're just simply adding them to the ordinance, what we do now. We also currently require analysis with this technical bulletin that FEMA has. It's to help locate a structure that's taken out of the floodplain, built on fill. We want to locate it horizontally far enough from the floodplain that water pressure does not seep into the basement. That's complicated drawing. The one on the right just kind of shows that distance. So again, we're currently doing this. We're just putting it into the code now. We added and revised some definitions to make sure that common usage and FEMA terminology matches what we have in our ordinance. We revised city engineer to floodplain administrator because that's the common terminology used. It didn't change who within our city is responsible. We added the ability for, clarify the ability that the city can allow, or can require, standards higher than FEMA should the city deem necessary. And we have a tracking mechanism for substantial improvement that we reduced to 5 years to make sure that we have better tracking with the city. Our recommendation is that you direct us to prepare an ordinance to take forward to City Council. And I'm sure I can flub my way through some questions and answers if you have them.
Are there any questions for Ms. Piles?
So it's 10 years now, and you want to it's going to be reduced, or the proposal is to reduce to 5?
Yes,
okay.
That's correct.
Any other questions from Commissioner Chizinski?
Mr. Vice Chairman, thank you. Great presentation, Sue. Appreciate. I knew you were a little concerned about it, but it's great. With the upcoming APWA 6800, was there any of that impacted the floodplain overlay, or is that just mostly stormwater?
No, that's just stormwater.
Just stormwater, okay. Thank you. That's it.
All right. No additional questions for staff? I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing and open up the regular meeting. Is there any comments from commission about the application?
Mr. Chairman, I think this is great. I'm glad that we're updating this and making sure that it's in line. I think that protects our residents, protects the city, and I think this is a great opportunity to do this. It's the last thing you ever want to do is to have floodplains in your homes. I mean, I know a lot of developers want to try to squeeze every little bit of ground they can, but having this in place really helps us and keep people safe. And quite honestly, it keeps us from having to pay longer terms down the road of federal and everything else. So I think it's a great opportunity and definitely be voting yes for this.
Thank you for those comments. Any other comments? I'll add, I appreciate the additional commentary. I did see this presentation before, so I appreciate the upgrade of it. Thank you, Ms. Piles. You did a lovely job. And I too appreciate the attendance to flood. I mean, we know that water management, wastewater management, flooding in the community is a concern, and there's areas in this community that unfortunately development did encroach into and we do have problems with, and so I appreciate the fact that we're trying to have foresight with all the development that was going to be coming in, so thank you. I'll be supporting that. Any other further questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
I recommend approval for applicant PL2026-064 UDO amendment to Article 5, Overlay Districts, Citywide, City of Lee Summit. Applicant.
Second.
Any comments or additional motions on the? All right, hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Thank you.
Ed Urington,
Yes.
Sherry Frazier,
Yes.
Terry Trafton,
Yes.
Chip Tazinski,
Yes.
Randy Benbrook.
Yes.
All right, the motion carries, and we'll look forward to seeing that at City Council, which leads me to my next agenda item, Roundtable. We have a commissioner here that will be leaving us. This is her last meeting. Congratulations, Commissioner Frazier, on being elected to City Council, and you'll be a councilwoman for District 2.
Thank you. Thank you.
We will miss you here, but we know we have a good working relationship with you, and we'll be working in partnership with you at City Council. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I just hope that, Commissioner Frazier will take that to council, so, we'll take our advice and recommendations into it. But I do have a question for staff. Hector, how much does it cost for a business to come in and request, a new, like that lighting standard? Because I kind of disagree with Commissioner Benbrook here a little bit. There's costs that they have to pay to come in and to get that upgraded. Now, granted, we're not going to know how much they pay their architect or their engineer or whatever to do that part. That's a sunk cost. But how much do they have to pay to come in front of this board to ask for an extension on something, is my first question. My second question is, what type of recompense or what can we do if they put lights in the wrong direction and they're pointing and they're wrong and it's dilapidated? I do believe there's laws on the books that protect the city and residents from that happening if it does switch hands. Can you comment on that as well?
So as far as any dilapidated fixtures, we will rely on our property maintenance code to address anything in that regard. As it relates to anyone installing them in the wrong direction, or maybe they're right, but then eventually maybe decide to maybe shift them, turn them, do something for whatever reason. In a case like that, that would have to be brought to our attention. But once it's brought to our attention, we would require them to make them compliant with our current code and/or approved plan, if it was spelled out in the plan. But we would rely on property maintenance code and the current standards of the UDO. As far as the cost, right now, to bring a special use permit forward for renewal, it costs $1,405 to bring that application forward.
Yeah, so I guess and if some people in the commission wonder why I was asking for a longer time frame, I understand. Commissioner Benbrook's concerns about length and that. But when we have a property owner that's taking care of their system, they've had no complaints, they had 0 residents around showing up. And I don't know, maybe schools can come and go, but I tend to think that they try to keep doing the right things to stay there in perpetuity. That's why I looked at making that a longer term, because there is an expense, at least $1,400, plus whatever else they have to pay to be represented here with their attorneys and whatever. So that's where my concern came from, and from all intents and purposes, I haven't heard otherwise that they haven't been a good member of this community. So that's the reason why I asked for a longer time.
And the only other thing I'll mention regarding special use permits is that we don't always necessarily have to wait until the time period. I mean, of course, we're always monitoring, and if there's complaints that come in, that's fine. If there is a documented history of someone doing something in violation of the conditions of their special use permit, there's still also the revocation process of a special use permit in the UDO. I think in my tenure here, we've only done that once. It's risen to that occasion that we've only done it once. But it is there, and it is a tool that is available to us.
Hector, do you guys take that in consideration, what Chip was saying, that if, just to save them money, right, that he was saying, and they've been great before, and so why wouldn't you guys ask that question that he brought up at the city level? I know you doubled it, right? They asked for 10, you made it 20, but Chip was saying, why not make it 30?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my comment really came from because it was an arbitrary number. That's why I was like, well, if you're going to make it 20, why not just make it 30? Because they've been a good.
Right.
So that's why
does the city consider making it higher just because of his point? You know, I'm just asking to understand.
Well, we've had other situations where I would have never asked for more. And actually, I've talked about asking for less.
Okay.
Because it was a situation where it's like, why are we giving them that much when we think this could happen? So it was just in this situation. And we've done it before, like, I forget where it was, but I think it was a service building for a golf course or something. It was a service building that they asked for, and I think we actually increased it for that one too, because similar kind of, I think it was over at Lakewood maybe, but there was a situation where they asked for so many years, and there's nothing else that was going to go there. It's like, why make you come back in 10 years or 20 years, whatever. That's where my thoughts for, and I appreciate the board, and so, I mean, that's why I voted for it. Everyone else thought 20 was fine with me, but that's where my
and I was kind of going back to the protocol, right? Because you were about protocol a couple sessions ago, you know, by asking about protocol, why are we bringing it up now? And that was kind of what I was thinking. Now I understand. So thank you for that.
To just quickly answer the question, so when a special use permit application for renewal comes forward, we do look at the history of what, if any, complaints there have been. Have they been essentially like a good neighbor? And there have been instances where an applicant has come and said, we would like X number of years. And there have been a few instances, not many, where we've seen documented history of, we've had to kind of get onto them to comply. So in some of those cases, we've said, okay, you're asking for 10, because there's a little bit of a track record here, we're going to say 5. Again, that hasn't happened often, but it has happened. And the opposite has also come up where they've maybe asked for 10 initially, or 10 has typically been the standard on renewals, and we've looked at the history again. It's like, no, we've had no issues.
Yeah.
They want to ask for 20. Yeah, we're open to 20. It hasn't been shown that it's been a problem to this point. So
I guess that was favorable to them to make it 20, but Chip was trying to give them more, right? Yeah, I see. I see the point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a church.
Yeah,
you know, it's not a commercial building that, you know, someone that just wants it because they don't want to pay for something.
Perfect.
It's a school, it's a church, it's nonprofit. You know, they'd rather, I'm sure, $1,400 isn't a ton of money, but they could put it towards a scholarship or put it towards something else for the school. I mean, not that, and again, I'm not saying anything against, you know, Commissioner Benbrook's statements, because I respect his statements very much, but that's what my thought process was and why I even brought it up in the first place.
Okay.
A quick question. What is the maintenance or the maintenance code? What teeth does it have? Let's say a building is not following their maintenance and there's 10 years left on their special use permit. What's the teeth in that code?
I guess we would initially pursue it through a property maintenance function. So initially, we open a case based on a violation of property maintenance code. Our inspectors go out there, they verify if there is dilapidated structure, trash, debris, whatever it is. They generally have 10 business days to take care of the abatement. Now, there are some items that can't be taken care of within 10 days.
Let's say they just refuse. They say,
Sure.
nope, not doing it. What
Then
do we do?
If we were to escalate it, it can, because of violation of property maintenance code, we can take them to court.
Okay, and what would we get from taking them to court? A fine? Would you shut the building down? Like, what is the end?
As far as shutting the building down, I guess if we were to a point where it was a public health safety standard, it's like, well, okay, that's the route you would take. But outside of that, it would generally be fines.
And what if they refuse to pay fines?
I don't know if Ms. Kelly can answer that better than I can.
So the initial step would be that fine, but there's also a court order associated with it. So if they're in violation of court order, then it just continues to escalate to the courts. They could end up in prison for violating the court order, or not prison, jail. There's a difference between jail and prison. Jail is less than a year, prison is more. That's the only thing I know about criminal law.
Okay.
But that being said, we would have that court order, and that it would just continue to escalate through that process.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
if there is a special use permit associated with it, then of course we can also follow the revocation process for the special use permit as well.
So what, do we have a standard like for special use durations? Because it seems to me like we've hovered around 20 years on a lot of our special use durations. And I know this commission has recommended for shorter or longer, depending on how we feel. But is there a kind of a standard that you go with? Like, let's say it's a new project, there's no history. What would you apply the standard or be comfortable to?
I guess there are a couple factors that might play into that. But let's say, like in a vacuum, let's say in a vacuum, we're typically looking at historically 20 to 30 years, and that's generally on new construction to provide some assurance because there are loans that are taken out, construction loans and whatnot. So there's a certain amount of certainty that, those that are backing the project would like on the project, that it's okay, we put out a 20, 30-year loan on it. We have some reasonable assurance that it will be there for the life of that loan. But there are cases where you might be dealing with maybe sensitive areas that might, just because, or perhaps new uses that we've not come across in the past, where we're not quite sure what the impact might be on surrounding properties, where even if it is new construction, we might recommend something lower than 20, be it 5 or 10 years. So some of it's going to be dependent on the investment associated with that project, and some of it's regarding the sensitivity or the unknown nature of what externalities there might be associated with that new use. So.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a good question. I like it.
Any other questions related to that? I appreciate the bringing up the conversation, commissioners. Do you guys have anything? Nothing? What? A big goose egg?
They got food in the back.
Well, I do have a presentation. I had the honor of going to the CEDC committee meeting last night. We had a lively conversation on e-bikes and e-scooter regulations in the community. If you didn't know, there's a difference between an e-bike and an e-scooter and a motorized bicycle and scooter. So I got schooled on that. I think they have ordinance in place already to address some of them. I think they're looking at if they're going to kind of combine those into one ordinance to regulate it. As you know, every time you drive down the street, there's kids on motorized bicycles and scooters that don't really look at the traffic and just cross intersections. We see it all the time. I've actually had a kid have a problem, run into some problems with that. So they're also going to increase educational efforts around that and kind of maybe add a little bit of, you know, it ultimately goes to the parent or the guardian, you know, to make sure, because the kids are underaged, but looking at all those kind of regulations around traffic safety and everything. So if you didn't know, prefer to call the non-emergency police number to report something. Typically, you know, police will come out and try to investigate the situation, but as you know, they're moving fast, so usually they're gone. But actually, I've learned that they can actually discover where maybe some of these kids live. So anyway, you cannot use Lee Summit Connect or the other option. You have to really call the police department. So there you go. You might see that in the future council person Frazier. So hearing no other comments, questions, we will adjourn Planning Commission at 6:27.